Abhi Mehta. Abhi Mehta was on the Cube at Hadoop World, and one of the most popular, actually, one of the most popular interviews we had at Hadoop World, mainly because of the energy, the passion, the smile,
the good looks.
The good looks, but no, you deliver some great content. You
Thank
were
you.
really talking about the Industrial Revolution, the notion of, which is our religion, by the way, data factories. So great stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're excited.
Thank you so much.
You got a new startup you're working on.
That's exactly right.
So we're here inside theCUBE. Abhi Mehta, who was with Bank of America, now is with your new company called
Strata.
And just
Strata. T-R-E-S-A-T-A.
tell us about it. So what is it? Can you talk about it?
Absolutely.
And what is up?
We are launching Strata on your show. This is our launch.
All right.
And we've been waiting for it. So,
we're launching.
A big round of applause. And,
okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. But Strata is, we call it, we are verticalizing the factory for financial services. We remain rabid fans on open source. And we believe the next wave of innovation, as you've heard me say, is going to come from taking the open source principles and taking it to other industries outside the web properties. And Strata wants to do that for financial services. So we are a vertical application of big data for financial services.
Do we have a website up and running? Is the product available?
There's a website up and running. We are going to build a product with a seed client. We've had great interest in the market.
Yeah.
And there's more information will be coming.
And your team, can you talk about your team?
We have a team. I have a co-founder, the only guy I would go to battle with, Richard Morris. Rich and I have known each other for a while. Hey Dave, good to see you.
How you doing?
Good to see you. We have a small team that we have assembled. We've had, as I mentioned, good interest from the market.
Funding?
We're going to do it the fun way. Yeah, exactly.
All right, good.
So we want to...
Birds of a feather here.
Yeah, we heard about Tableau as well, SiliconANGLE, Wikibon, all self-funding club.
Absolutely.
We should start our own little show called the Self-Funding Club.
Yeah, the crazy entrepreneurs who made a lot of money, right?
I mean, why don't you take some money? They're handing it out like free, charity. I mean, Y Combinator is just handing cash out. I mean, go there.
That's a good point.
No
I
free
think,
lunch.
I know. I think our focus is we see a unique opportunity, as you've heard me say, in tooling the next industrial revolution. And we want to be the ones tooling it. As a very smart man once said, in the gold rush, the people who made the most money were the guys shining the shovels, not the guys digging for gold. You want to be the guys shining the shovels, right? And we want to help people find the gold.
So what tools are you guys working on then? Can you prioritize your...
Yeah, so I misunderstood. So I thought Strata was a services company in terms of you guys providing consulting and planning, design. No, it's you're talking tools and enablement. So tell us more. That's exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. So
people are going to be throwing money at you guys.
I hope so. With your support, I really do hope so. Thank you so much, guys.
Commissions.
But yeah, Strata is going to be building, as we mentioned. So is going to be building tools and what we call the data assembly line. So the ability to take data, raw data as it exists, and push it through the Strata automated assembly line, just like the old assembly lines of manufacturing, and then produce, what you heard me say, data products, which have gone from millions of rows and thousands of variables to prioritized variables that feed specific business problems.
Cleaned up a little bit.
Cleaned up, matched, parsed, intelligence added to it, creating aggregations and derivative variables for it, for solving specific business problems.
So this notion of a data supply chain, is that something that customers are actually going to start to move forward on?
We think so. We think that that technology is finally reached this critical inflection point where you hear every new wave of technology have this tagline, better, faster, cheaper. We think it actually does exist now, right? So we think the notion of you called it the supply chain, I call it the assembly line, which is automated, which is verticalized. We believe that actually there's going to be a lot more companies like Strata going after a lot more verticals. It'll be good for us to be that as we grow, and we're starting with a domain that we are very familiar with, and we think
financial services.
Financial services. We think will be re-engineered, restructured, have a rebirth, powered by data, especially given what we have seen in the larger economy the last few years, and we want to tool it. But we think the better, faster, cheaper can be realized. It is better because simply the fact that you can do things today and you can solve problems you could not solve before, especially what I call with the clash of the clouds, right? You heard me talk about it in the morning. We think there is just immense value waiting to be unleashed as we see these clouds emerge, and one time they will clash, and there's some issues, and we'll talk about that in a second. But so it's going to be better because you can solve problems you couldn't solve before. It's going to be faster because you can actually do things at scale, and when you get stuck, because big data is, I have a new dictat, big data is no longer big. Yeah. It's small because technology has made it manageable. So there isn't a big data problem that cannot be solved anymore. Big data is actually an opportunity, and technology has made petabyte-sized data small and manageable. So it's the ability to do that, and if you get stuck, throw in more hardware, throw in more nodes, throw in some little bit more open source magic, some kumbaya, and it will work. Come to Strata, we'll help you out. And it's going to be cheaper because it is truly built on the concepts of open source and commoditized hardware and software around it.
So when you talked about this cloud collision, you talked about financial services companies have your financial profile, the telcos have your mobile activity profile, the retail companies have your buying profile. So my question is, how do I get access to all that data? Can you flip that and maybe provide some incentives? I might want to pay for that. No, is that something that companies are thinking about? Are they building data products around that, and will they monetize that?
Well, you bring a very, very important notion to light, which needs to be addressed. I don't think anybody's addressing it. Strata is throwing its weight behind what we call a new deal on data. A new deal on data needs to come, and it needs to come fast. And it needs to be built around the principles of what you just mentioned, which is, at the end of the day, the core source of data, whatever that source may be, needs to have some sort of a right to it. And ownership is a hard word, I'll use the word right to it. So if Dave Vellante is producing data across these various, and feeding these various clouds that are coming around, because Dave carries an iPhone, has a GPS on it, Dave has multiple financial relationships, Dave has the very important customer card at his grocery store, which tells the grocery store what Dave likes and gives you coupons. Dave has a very interesting online social and Twitter profile. You should have the rights to it. And if the consumer chooses to share that information with a particular entity or for a particular service, they should get some sort of compensation for it. It could be anything. So I'm proposing this world will come by where, look, if your GPS data truly is valuable, and if your telco provider came to you and said, Mr. Dave Vellante, I will take and track you every single living minute of the day, and in return I'll give you free service, you may sign up for it. And there'll be some other people who may not, who may have some other requirements. But at the core of it, there need to be rights to the data. You need to sit with the people or the unit that produces it. And if that data is used in any commercial way or for any particular commercial purpose or to solve a particular problem, there needs to be some exchange of value, whatever the value may be. And that's the kind of deal on data we are putting our weight behind. Mm-hmm. One of the advisors to Strata is a leading edge thinker on it who actually proposed this at the World Economic Forum 2 years ago. And it got lost in the shuffle and the pain of the credit crisis, but we think it's going to come back front and center. There are 1,200 people at Strata. This is the future. We all buy it. Yeah. And something like this needs to happen. And we want to be the white knight. We want to be one of the leading voices to help frame that discussion.
Now, who's that advisor?
Sandy Pentland at MIT.
Okay, interesting. Now, let's talk about you mentioned the financial crisis. Didn't big data kind of get us into the financial crisis? Is that? Is that true, or is that?
I'm not an expert. I mean, there have been tomes and books written about this.
Well, it's interesting.
But
right?
It's an interesting thing. If you
big data got us in, maybe big data can get us out.
Good. I think at the core of look, why is data? People ask the question, why is data valuable, right? And when you break it down, every single industry, every single company, every single enterprise, every single project, even theCUBE starts with you want to solve some unmet need, some business problem needs to be solved, right?
Yeah.
How do you understand and make the decision to solve the business problem? With some information. How do you get the information? By churning some data through some models. At the core of every single business decision is data. That value chain does not change. Data feeds models, which spouts information, which help you make decisions, right? You guys probably you do the same thing on video.
Yeah, we're very data driven. There's no
exactly,
doubt about it.
Right? So I think that core flow, that core engine that every single industry runs on does not change. With that logic, you can argue, yes, that there was this notion going around, every single company in financial services thought that they were different, that their models would withstand the stresses if they were to come. What they forgot was when there is a market crisis, if you assume that if you're going through a crisis and the market will absorb your losses, it's fine. When the market goes through a crisis, everybody's going to crisis. Yeah. There is no market to absorb your losses, right? And we do believe at the core of it was that the data is very valuable, has a lot of insights that were not being properly either articulated or mined or even analyzed to help us make better decisions. Can it be done? The answer is yes. Can it be done in the near future? Can we build a better financial system out of it? Absolutely. Will it happen in this economy and country? Absolutely. And we need to take the lead to do it. And we would like to play our small part in it.
So Strata, talk about some of the use cases that you're going after, some of the problems that you expect to solve first. Is it risk reduction, through fraud detection? Is it new products? Where do you start?
The core of what we would like to go after is the assembly line, which we believe will be the foundation to solve a lot of them. And what we're realizing is that step one in the process may sound simple, may not sound very sexy, but it is the ability to make that factory real.
The kind of raw material.
The raw material. Yeah. And because your solution, your business problem, your ability to actually solve for it will only be as good as the data you feed into it. And unless we have the ability to automate that pipeline at scale, millions of rows, thousands of variables, multiple years of data, unless you can do that, you actually can't effectualize the ability to solve problems. So we're going to start with the step one, the basic block and tackling, and enable the factory to be built, and then very slowly go after the applications.
Now, do you feel like people are going to be, you obviously lived that, so you know the power of the data factory. Do you feel like, where are we at in terms of adoption in the financial services industry? Is the bulk of the industry, of that mindset? Have they realized, have they come to this epiphany, or do you have to do a lot of sort of evangelizing?
I think the industry, you got to give the industry a lot of credit. Sure. Financial services has always been the hotbed, as well as the petri dish for a lot of emerging technologies, as you guys know. So I think, I think it's got some very, very smart thinkers. Look, some of our initial conversations with potential clients, these guys are leading edge thinkers who want to make that leap and want to be the entity or the person who defines the future. So absolutely, it's been, we've had great interest.
And what's going to happen if they don't make that leap? Right.
Exactly.
That's in that industry, the most competitive industry in the planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. The alternatives don't look very attractive, do they?
Yeah. Right. So, what do you think of this event? The inaugural, Strata conference, big data. It's sort of confirmation of your recent career, isn't it?
It is. I told you guys that I'm staking my career on this the last time we met, and it's good to know that there are 1,200 people at the conference who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So it's great conference, great validation. As always, O'Reilly did a great job putting it together. Phenomenal agenda. I'm glad to see you guys are here. This is the attraction. This is the highlight of everything. The CUBE is the highlight. I actually like the airy walls. Glass. It's actually pretty cute, pretty cool.
That's right. We don't need all that fancy stuff.
But you guys, I think I think it's heartening to see, and I've had great conversations in the conference. Heartening to see the big data revolution. What we all discussed, 6 months ago? And we've been talking about ever since. That what we were thinking was a vision that I had professed is going to come true. The second revolution is coming. We are going to be the players in it.
Yeah.
I think there are 1,200 rabid fans behind us on big data who want to be as well.
And not only that, you're seeing a lot of the enterprise. We follow the enterprise. A lot of the enterprise whales are now getting into it. They're using the term big data. Some of them aren't even really sure what it means. They got a lot of people studying it, but they're going to go spend a lot of money. They're going to do a lot of market development for little guys and obviously for themselves. So
Absolutely.
That's a great dynamic to have. A lot of VC money pouring in, and it's early days. So we're very excited to be here. Abhi, it's great to have you back on theCUBE.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to.
You're now entrepreneur now, so you got grassroots. You got self-funding. You don't work for the big company. You don't have the protection. You're on the wild, man. How does it feel?
It's like Tarzan, and you feel like you're king of the world. No, look, we are very excited on behalf of our team and what we're trying to do. Look forward to continuing a relationship with you guys.
We absolutely, we're friends of you, and we love your vision, love the work. We're behind you all the way. You need us for anything, let us know.
Yeah, we're covering this. You know, we want to go deep. We'd love to have you back on in some of our other events, and maybe dig into it with some of the practitioners. You could share your knowledge there.
Absolutely.
It's a good community coming together. It's small right now, so it's a good kernel developing. So, I mean, it's a small show. It's great here. The industry's small, and we're all going to probably look back in 5 years going, do you remember the time when we
sat down here?
We had on a table?
Exactly.
Of course, we're going to have a huge studio.
Absolutely, glass, right?
You know?
Even like the Apple Cube at
MSNBC.
Motorized cameras.
Producers, staff of 20 people running around.
I don't think you want someone dabbing makeup on you when you're doing that, right? Well, guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for your support.
Thanks so much.
And we look forward to doing some fun stuff together.
Yeah, good deal.